In this video we want to talk about break-even analysis. Now this is an important topic in some areas of business and management, in particular in business startups, when investors and say the banks who may be putting up some of the startup capital would want to see a series of documents submitted, and one of them may be a break-even analysis. In other words, they want to find out what is the quantity of output that the company must produce in order to break even. If it's a genuine startup, then it's very difficult to estimate this, because the person preparing the document will have to estimate what the likely costs and revenues will be and so on. So it's not an easy document to prepare in practice. But in terms of the calculations that are necessary to work out the break-even, in fact they are very straightforward, and that's what I want to run through in this video. So let's start with a very simple set of data here. We've got the price and the quantity and the sales revenue. So the sales revenue is just equal to the product of the price and quantity. Multiply both together and we get sales revenue. So for example, quantity is 20, price is 5, sales revenue must be 100. It's 20 times 5. Price 5, quantity 23, sales revenue 115. So we know how to work out the sales revenue very simply. The fixed costs, well, fixed costs are fixed. They're just a constant. In this case, 50 all the way through. In our simple example here, so we could estimate it to, or put it down to be 50. And then we've got the variable cost per unit. Now this is the cost of producing a single unit of output. So let's say it's 4. Now the quantity we produce is 20 times 4, so the total variable cost is 80. It's 23 times 4 equal to 92. So you can do this very simply on a spreadsheet. Just enter the formulas and you will get these figures across here. So 130 times 4 is 104. So you can work out the total variable cost. Now what we've got on our table so far is we've got fixed costs and variable costs. Well, fixed plus variable is equal to total. So we've got total costs. And we can just insert the total cost there. It's just equal to the fixed, which is 50, variable is 80 in this case, total is 130. Fixed again 50, total 92, variable 92, total 142. So we can work out the total cost quite simply by adding the variable and fixed costs together. So now we've got two columns here which are extremely important. We've got the sales revenue and the total cost, and when both of those are balanced or are equal, that's when the break even occurs. We have to find the point where the total cost is equal to the total revenue. We have to find the figure where that happens. You could do it just by looking at the table in this case, because it should be pretty obvious that that's it. The sales revenue is 250 and the total cost is 250 as well. But we don't want to do it that way. We want to do it slightly more sophisticatedly. We want to use a graph and we want to do some calculations to work it out. So we could have a simple graph which would help us. Let's just get rid of this for a moment. Sorry, the Excel jumps around a little. We could just highlight this lot here and insert and take a line and just line chart, and just putting that up, just you can play with this yourselves and make it look a lot better than this. But you can see immediately we've got here if we have to read off the legends, of course, or what the axes, what these lines mean. But you can see here 250 is a point where the two lines cross, and these lines are total costs and total sales revenue. So 250, and then we'd read down and we'd find it's 50 down here. As I said, you might want to change the format of that and make it look a lot nicer than I've got, but very simply that's how you add the chart. So that's one way of working out the break even. Very simple technique. We can also work it out using a little bit of thinking about the definition of the variables that we're talking about and just setting them equal. So we would start here with, let's say, a break even is when sales revenue, total sales revenue equals total cost, and we would have this point here where PQ is equal to TC. Price times quantity is equal to total cost. Price times quantity equals total cost. Sales revenue equals total cost. Just expanding that, we've got sales revenue equals total cost. Price times quantity is sales revenue. So price times quantity, sales revenue. And total cost here, well, that's just equal to fixed cost plus the variable cost per unit times the quantity. So fixed plus variable costs must equal the sales revenue. And a little reflection, I'm sure you'll see that that's quite straightforward. Now, the break even is when the sales revenue is equal to the total cost. Sales revenue equals total cost, that's break even. In other words, the price times quantity, this one back here, price times quantity, this one. Price times quantity is equal to total cost, well, it's equal to total cost there. So price times quantity equals total cost. There we've got price times quantity equals total cost, which is equal to, total cost is equal to the fixed cost plus the variable cost per unit times the quantity. It's equal to the fixed cost plus the variable cost per unit times the quantity. Just there. Now, we've got a Q, a quantity, on each side of this equation. You've got PQ is equal to this lot over here, fixed cost plus variable cost per unit times the quantity. So quantity on both sides, so we can collect those. We can take this one here, variable cost times quantity, this one, move it to the left. So if we subtract it here, we'd have plus variable cost per unit times the quantity minus the variable cost per unit times the quantity. Well, plus and minus will cancel out, leaving us with the price times quantity minus the variable cost per unit times the quantity is equal to the fixed cost. That's what's left, the fixed cost. Now we can factorize. In other words, we can take the Q outside the brackets. So it's Q times P, quantity times price, minus variable cost per unit times the quantity. So we have inside the bracket P minus variable cost per unit, which is equal to the fixed cost. Now to get the quantity on its own, if we divide the left hand side here by P minus VC, then we must divide the right hand side by P minus VC. And that's what we've done. Divide the left hand side here by P minus VC, which will just equal 1. 1 times Q is equal to Q. Divide the right hand side, you'll get FC over P minus VC. Now let's substitute numbers in here. Well, fixed cost for a start. Well, fixed costs are here, 50, all the way down. So fixed cost is 50. Price, well, over here, 5, constant all the way. So it's 5 minus VC. Well, VC is the variable cost per unit, which is 4 there. So it's 50 over 5 minus 4, which is just equal to 1. So 50 over 1 is equal to 50. So the quantity is 50, which is what we got from the graphical solution earlier. So now you know how to work out a break-even. There are two approaches. We can use the graphical solution, or we can use this simple calculation. Just insert into our formula, here's our formula, the one we've just derived. We can insert the figures in there, and that'll give us the break-even quantity. So an important calculation, it's one that's often requested, particularly when a company is raising finance, but it's straightforward to do, and it's one you should be able to work out. That's all we're going to deal with in this session, so let's leave it at that and say thank you for watching. I've just lost my thank you for watching. There you go.